what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit, Aristotle said. We are the product of our internal autopilot. It dictates more than 90% of all decisions that we make, big or small. The rest of what we do is a free will. Does it sound shocking? Yeah, perhaps it does. You think that you make all your decisions consciously. This is a great belief, with only one tiny flaw. This is not true. And what I'm going to do today is to tell you why this belief is wrong and what you can do to stop living on autopilot and take back control of your life. Coming back to we are what we repeatedly do. Habits is a type of action that you perform on an ongoing basis, so it becomes automatic. But first of all, let's have a look. Let's see why habits are actually important. Habits matter because they hold great influence and sway over the way we think, act, and feel, which basically covers almost everything we do. I would like to quote a great athlete, Jim Ryan. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. So we get into habit of thinking, feeling, and doing. So we turn on our internal autopilot even when we think about something, do something, and feel something, which is quite dangerous indeed. And now, let's have a look at the etymology of the words habit and autopilot. Habit is a model of action that due to constant repetition becomes automated and easy to implement. And it is of pivotal importance that habits are not only things that we do, but also what we believe in and our way of thinking. Habits hold beliefs about ourselves that influence our behavior, actions that we take, and decisions that we make. A habit is a repeating behavior or action which becomes automatic, so we mostly don't think about it. It's autopilot. An autopilot is automatically learned actions that occur without thinking. Lasting changes is a product of your daily habits. The small little things that you do the day in, day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, go into making a person who you are. In other words, we and our lives are the result and the present and the sum of our daily habits. The striking example of this is a famous character from the movie Bridget Jones's Diary, Chubby Bridget, which constantly gave herself a bunch of empty promises. She wrote a New Year resolution in which she promised to lose 20 pounds, to find a nice, sensible boyfriend to go out with, and to stop forming romantic attachments to alcoholics, workaholics, megalomaniacs, commitment phobics, and perverts. As far as you understood, none of these promises was fulfilled. Why is that? And who among you didn't give himself empty promises? Buy sneakers and go to gym. Get juicy and start the diet. How many times you promised yourself to start a new life from the next Monday, the next week, the next month, the next year, and all in vain? Why is that? There is an opinion that habits are, in addition to all above, also a cause of action, the fulfillment of which has become a necessity. Augustine and Macrobius express this in simple terms. They express this idea in this phrase: habit is a second nature, which actually the second character. There is something almost magical in understanding how habits actually work. And studies show that once you understand the structure of a habit, it's much easier to change it. So, habits have three main characteristics or three parts that make us keep in them. First part is a cue or a trigger. It's a reminder, it's something triggers your thought or your behavior. Then comes the routine. It's the behavior or action which cue has triggered. And after this comes the reward. And this is a bit which is beneficial to you. And however it mightn't feel like that, your brain sees its benefit. So your brain makes you repeat it again and again, and so you do, until it actually becomes a habit. And what do you think? Is it possible to get rid of a bad habit? Raise your hands those who think that it is actually possible to get rid of a bad habit. Thank you. Well, scientists claim that it is impossible to get rid of a bad habit due to psychoneural connection, because a habit is a need. That's why getting rid of bad habits is as difficult as giving up drugs. When you get rid of a bad habit, a void is formed and you need a healthy habit to put in its place. Well, now let's have a look at the advantages and the disadvantages of having habits. Let's start with disadvantages. First of all, habits narrow your horizons. A person can get used to everything. And the danger of it is that you start perceiving a habit as an inevitable reality. It's the only way of doing things. However, of course, is not true. In addition to this, habits create the illusion of safety. The danger of habits lies in the fact that through habits, you are in the illusory comfort zone. And in order to get out of this comfort zone, you need to cross the zone of fear, which is quite dangerous indeed. In addition to this, habits block your personal growth. When you just turn on your autopilot, you don't gain new experience. And that's why you don't elevate yourself and you don't develop yourself. And also, habits swallow your willpower. When there is a habit, there is no need to use a willpower. And this is a pitfall of a comfort zone. And now let's have a look at the advantages of habits. First of all, habits save our brain energy. Or let's say free up our brains to do creative and exciting thinking. Forming habit from the ongoing behavior actually provide your brain with a mechanism for saving energy. Gretchen Rubin, in her book Better Than Before, sums it up nicely. When it is possible, brain always turns behavior into a habit, which saves effort and this way gives us more capacity to deal with complex, novel and urgent matters. In addition to this, habits reduce stress in our lives. Sometimes when you think about upcoming week or upcoming month, you feel overwhelmed because there is simply not enough time to do all things and there are too many things to do. That's why you really need to automate some of your actions. Moreover, habits help you to build character and endurance. Character is foundational if you want to be a leader in your life and in the world around you. And good daily habits help you to build this very character. So, to sum up, good habits can underpin our mind management to change our behavior. But before we start thinking about how to change our bad habits for good habits, let's first identify those habits that don't contribute to those things that we want to achieve in life. Let me tell you an emotional story from my own experience, from my coaching practice. This is an example of how a person ruined his career because he constantly clung to his own internal autopilot. I'm a business coach and I have a client called Alex. Alex looks impressive. He is an oil industry engineer, knowledgeable, intelligent and attractive. But he does nothing all day long apart from daydreaming and drinking beer. Why is that? His bad habit is that he wastes his time, life and energy on following such Michael life as a devoted fan. Michael is successful online entrepreneur with big presence online. And Alex wants to be as successful as Michael. So Alex had been following Michael through his YouTube channel and articles in mass media for a long time. He also constantly goes to personal development training courses, reads books about leadership, and also writes a lot of positive affirmations on the walls. And though Alex was a pilot in the past, he doesn't see that his constant life is on constant autopilot. He learns a lot but does nothing. What Alex doesn't understand is that Michael wasn't born as a successful 45-year-old entrepreneur. Michael went through his own path of resistance and growth to become who he is now. He constantly made efforts to succeed, and this behavior became a habit. A willpower became a habit. So what did I do to help Alex to change his bad habits for the better? His routine was to learn for the sake of learning, and his reward was the misplaced belief that he actually did something to achieve success. So I confronted him with his misplaced efforts, and this way helped him to change his routine and to go out of a comfort zone by taking massive action instead of just gathering knowledge for the sake of it. Habit is rooted in our life so firmly that it becomes the norm. You keep doing the same actions on an ongoing basis. justifying it by the fact that it has always been done this way. But where would the iPhone and the Mac computer be now if Steve Jobs didn't advocate think different mindset? Habit seems to us ordinary, even boring. But they have much more power over us than we think. And when you change one bad habit, you start making incremental adjustments to your day, to every day, which is over a year or over a decade can add up to a huge difference. There is a battle, a struggle in each of us, very similar to a struggle of two wolves. One wolf represents evil. It's envy, jealousy, ambition, selfishness, and lies. Another wolf represents good. It's love, peace, hope, kindness, and loyalty. And which wolf wins in the end? The one that you feed, of course. We all want to achieve success, don't we? So what is the secret of success? I remember when I was 13 years old, I had to learn by heart different topics in my English lessons at school. And one of the topics was called the achievers and the sustainers. And I still remember that the achievers were people who were self-confident and proactive, and they always achieved what they wanted to. And the sustainers were people who couldn't influence others, who couldn't determine their priorities, and couldn't achieve success. And 22 years ago, I thought that sustainers couldn't achieve what they wanted to because of lack of certain skills. But now I understand that it's not the skills, but the habits that we tend to underestimate. They say failure is critical for success. But what if failure becomes a habit and starts working on autopilot mode? We need to break this vicious circle and take the bull by its horns by starting the process which is responsible for motivation, so the person changes his unhealthy habits for healthy ones. When we work through our subconscious, we can come to our conscious actions and improve ourselves and not the false image of ourselves. That's why the most important tool to substitute unhealthy habits with healthy ones is a deep self-awareness. As we already know, we are what we do always. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. What do you want to get? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to change? Whatever it is, this is a result of your everyday habits. Success in leadership, business, and marriage often comes from small daily choices we do in our everyday life. Plato said, "The greatest victory is a victory over yourself." Change your internal autopilot and you can change who you are and what you can achieve. Change is the only thing which is constant in our life. May change be your benefit. Thank you.